Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Meeting Times. I work in a tech company. Usually we have a software deployment every other Thursday. The team usually has long meetings on Friday, 2 to 3 hours after deployment. However, usually we have some minor issues after deployment, and I have to do a lot of monitoring and fixing. So I usually ask the team to push the meeting to Monday so we can stabilize the system first. A few weeks ago in the meeting, they pointed out how I am always postponing the meeting, that we never have it on its set date, which is Friday. I mentioned that usually the system wasn't stable on Friday and I had to fix it, but they all agreed that we must stick to the schedule. So I was like, okay. After 2 weeks, I attended the meeting on its scheduled time on Friday. It went on for like 3 hours. When we came out, there were hundreds of emails and tickets from the client. The servers were down for hours right at peak usage time. Our clients were angry as they had lost tens of thousands of dollars during that time. The thing is, it was already the end of my workday, so my boss had to pay me a hefty amount for working on weekends, and twice the days in leave as a replacement. The next story is called Tripping Hazard. I moved into my university dorm last Saturday. The wireless internet in my university's dorms is terrible, but for the most part it doesn't matter, because each dorm has an Ethernet port for wired internet, which is screaming fast. However, while setting up my Xbox, I quickly discovered that the Ethernet port in my room didn't work. At first I thought it was an issue with my Ethernet switch, but after some help from my dad, we realized it was the wall port that didn't work. Out of curiosity, we asked the students in the room next to mine if theirs worked. Nope, theirs was broken too. We checked the port in the floor lounge to see if it was an issue with my cables. That one worked fine. My roommate emailed maintenance to see if they could help, but they replied that it seemed to be a widespread issue, as they had received many reports from multiple buildings about the same problem. Since classes didn't start for a few more days, my roommate and I decided to just hang out in the floor lounge during the day, since the Ethernet there worked, meaning it was actually possible to play online games. After 2 days of dragging our whole setups down the hall to another room, in the morning and back in the evening, I had a dumb idea. I have a really long Ethernet cable. Would it reach from the lounge to our room? Turns out the answer was yes. It reached with plenty of room to spare. So we set everything up, and we had Ethernet from the lounge in our room. All someone walking by would see was a cable coming out from under the lounge door and disappearing under our door. Our fun lasted about a day. We came up with the idea at midnight, and late the next afternoon the AR knocked on our door and said we needed to put the cable away, because it was a tripping hazard. Begrudgingly, we complied. Later that evening, my roommate had an idea. The issue wasn't the cable itself. The issue was that running it across the floor created a tripping hazard. So I ran to the store and bought some duct tape. My initial thought was to tape it down, so someone wouldn't catch their toe on it. But he had a better idea. We had plenty of extra cable. Why not tape it to the ceiling? And that's exactly what we did, giggling the entire time. Several people on our floor have commented on it, and my friend called it genius. We still haven't heard from the RAs again. The problem solved, I guess. We got rid of the tripping hazard while keeping our internet. The third story is called Reasonable. I just relocated to a new city and was contacted by a supervisor, advising me on how much and what I can spend. I am usually frugal and try to save money as much as I can, but I don't compromise on necessities. In order to relocate, I was planning on using the train, as it was more comfortable and easygoing as compared to flight. However, I was told that in economy, you usually have baggage limitations. Even if I paid overrate, I still wouldn't be allowed to carry the extra stuff I had with me. I thought of upgrading to business class, as it offered assistance with baggage, as well as complimentary meals. But before I could do that, the supervisor told me that's not allowed. Fine, I won't upgrade. Instead, I booked an economy flight ticket last minute. I paid for the extra baggage and also hired a shipping company to ship my stuff. In the end, the cost for this is a whopping 750 Canadian dollars, as compared to the business ticket, which would have just cost an additional 150. He wants to be reasonable, so here it goes. The next story is called Box of Air. I work in IT. We were sending out empty boxes for people leaving the company to send their laptops back in. It was a good process, and we didn't have any issues, until the first time I tried it in South Africa. They just couldn't accept the idea that the box was empty, and kept asking me for the contents, over and over again. It came to the point where I'd had enough. One quick Google later to double check I was right, I listed the contents as follows: nitrogen, oxygen, argon, and trace amounts of other gases, including methane, carbon dioxide, and neon, among others. I included the chemical compositions just to be extra petty. I only received 2 more emails on the subject, one to say that my box had been released from customs, and another confirming delivery. Oddly, I never had any issues after that. The last story is called Car Permits. I'm an overnight security guard. I work from 7 PM to 7 AM most nights. I am with a company that has contracts with other companies for security, usually hotels, apartment complexes, clubs, etc. At this one particular site I work 90% of the time. The parking is terrible. It's a luxury hotel, and the parking garage is nowhere near as accommodating as it should be. The hotel has valet and a restaurant on the top floor. The parking garage is only 2 floors, maybe 100 spots for all employees and guests. They recently made it so that roughly a quarter of the garage is reserved for employees, which is nowhere near enough. They also made it so you need a parking permit to park there. If you don't have a permit, you get towed. One warning is allowed via a sticker on your car. The garage is also valet only for non-employees. I have 3 cars, not counting my partners that I drive on occasion. The parking permits list your cars here, make, model, color, and license plate number. My boss told me that the permits are transferable between cars, but they will come and ask you why the permit does not match the car. My boss told me to say, well, boss told me that the permits are transferable between cars. And this is the car I drove today. Also, I asked them for permits for all of my cars to save time. And they said every person only gets 1 permit. I was also told that they have to check every time the permit does not match, whether they know the car or not. From the day I received my permit, I drove a different car every day. One of my 3 cars, my partner's car, my mom's car, her boyfriend's car. Every car I was able to drive, I drove to work. After a while, management was starting to get upset about it. I gave them the same answer every time. After about a month and a half of this, I came in one day to my office, and there it was, in all its glory. A stack of permits for every single car I ever drove to work. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.